Alright guys, let's get some gameplay and a showcase of the brand new Madolche. So first off, answer the question, they are pretty good turn 1, but it still suffers from the same problem that Madolche really had, which was it's essentially going to be a deck that kind of loses out if your opponent hand traps you. It is heavily going to be a deck where if your play doesn't go off, well, you really don't have any other options. And it also has the problem that I would say some of the older archetypes would be, where like it locks you into specifically going for things in the archetype, which is actually not super early on. It actually is something later on. I'm going to go ahead and pause it once we get into the newer stuff over here. So this is kind of a standard Madolche play over here. You used to be able to end up with like Nat Beast Tube. Okay. Starting off, this is one of the newer pre-release cards, which is Madolche Mew Gnard Mew Karan. So it just requires 2+ effect monsters, so you can splash in other things to make this. But once you go for this, that's it. It's all Madolches from here on out, and if you want to use effects. But if it's Link Summoned, you get to add a Madolche card from your deck to your hand, then you get to target a monster in your graveyard, and you can't activate non-Madolche monsters' effects for the rest of the turn. But you get to special summon a Madolche monster from your hand. If you do, you get to shuffle the other target into the deck, which is totally fine because most of the stuff like Ticket, Salon, and Chateau, like all these other things are going to be able to give you some sort of a bonus anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much about putting it back into the deck because you're going to get a bonus with it. So one thing that you can do with it is on top of whatever you add over here, you can just go straight into Madolche. Madolche will let you add another card. But with Salon over here, another Madolche card or cards you control is in your graveyard is added to your hand or your main deck by a card effect. You get to set a Madolche spell or trap directly from your deck, which is going to be one of the newer cards. This is another newer disruption card called Madolche Dessert, and it lets you target 2 effect monsters in the field, including a Madolche monster. You get to return those effect monsters to the hand/extra deck. Then you get to special summon a Madolche monster from your hand or extra deck with attack equal to or less than the returned monster's total original deck. So pretty much you can go for whatever you want. And then if a Madolche card in your graveyard is returned into the deck and or extra deck while it's in your graveyard, you get to attach this card to an Exceed monster you control as material. For the most part, I mean, yeah, it's definitely a bonus, but this card effect, once it goes off, you basically win. I mean, if you start off your play and your opponent doesn't have any hand traps, you can get a decent amount of disruptions with this deck, but a lot of times it's like double at once, which you're going to see in the brand new Exceed monster in a moment here. So Madolche, going to go summon Madolche, going to go ahead and add another card, and then go right into the Glass Souffle. And then Ticket is placed over here. You can spam the board with a bunch of things, but remember, you're still locked into Madolche effects, so you can go for quite a bit of things, but most of the effects are just going to be once per turn anyway, so you can go into Tiramisu. And this is the other brand new card here. So this is Madolche Queen Tiara a la Frage. So what it does is just basically Tiramisu as a quick effect. So it requires 3 level 5s, but you can just slap it on top, just like, you know, any of the Utopia stuff. So what it does is it has once per opponent's turn, so this is only on your opponent's turn. As a quick effect, you get to detach material from this card, target up to 2 Madolche cards in your graveyard. You shuffle them into the deck. Also shuffle cards your opponent controls in the deck up to the number of cards returned. And if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card and sent to the graveyard, you get to return it, but you're going to just activate the other things anyway. So you'll have some targets. Basically, you're going to bounce back 2, and you'll have Dessert. So Dessert lets you target 2 effect monsters in the field, including Madolche monster. You return those effect monsters to the hand and or extra deck. Then you get to special summon a Madolche from your hand. So basically, you have 1 disruption here, and technically you get to bring out another monster, so it's another bonus, but a lot of the Madolches don't have like a negate and destroy, right? But a la Frage over here will then let you bounce back 2 cards. So you have 2 bounces with this, you have this also, and if Glass Souffle survives over here, this one also has another effect. This one's not new though, but it's just a quick effect. You get to target a Madolche monster in the field. This turn, that face-up monster is unaffected by other monster effects except for its own. So you get to, you could argue this is a disruption because they would want to get rid of this card, right? This is like, they have to get rid of a la Frage. But you get to protect another card, then you get to shuffle up to 2 cards from the graveyard into the decks. So you get another bonus because then you could maybe add Ticket. I mean, Ticket Chateau, so basically graveyard goes right back to your hand. But again, you don't have like any Madolche hand traps, so to speak. And I think that would have really helped out. So technically, if we look at everything, if we want to count Glass Souffle as kind of a disruption, because they're going to try to target this, right? So that kind of protects it a little bit, depending on what is used here, right? So if we want to say, at the most, this is kind of a disruption. If we go a la Frage, that's 2 disruptions there. We also have Dessert, which can target 2 effect monsters, which has to include Madolche, so that would be, you can't bounce back 2 of your opponents, that's 1 and 1 of your opponents, so it'll be 4. And then we have Promenade over here, so it lets you target a face-up card your opponent controls, and a Madolche you control in your graveyard, you get to negate that effect. So you'd have like 5 disruptions, but it doesn't like just they're not all just negate and destroy. One of them has to be 2 at once. So that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of what you can do. So now that that's explained, let's go ahead and see how this plays out. This one over here is going to be more of a one-sided duel, I'm going to be honest, because the Madolche player did get to go first, but there is a forbidden droplet, so we'll see how this plays out. But this deck is definitely a very win harder deck. If this goes off, now he's going to go ahead and activate Promenade, so he's going to go ahead and stop the other card. So he stops the Droplet. Droplet would have been pretty clutch, but he's going to bounce all those things back, and pretty much in most situations, it's going to be GG's for most players if they don't have a follow-up, and you're going to get so many cards in your hand and be able to spam out. And remember, if anything's going away, you're just going to get all the cards basically just back right into your hand. But he goes for one of the newer cards. This is the Memento archetype, which I do plan to cover as well. The guy just decided, okay, well, you know, he's just going to go ahead and say GG over here. But I got another duel over here because I want to show you guys the deck actually going second up against the Weather Painter deck, which I haven't seen anyone really play it, so let's go ahead and swap it to the point of view. And this is 2 different builds by player over here, but you'll see that there is a Fable mix in it over here. This one is with the Fiendsmiths. This is kind of like a splashable engine, and let's see what he does. So he's going to go ahead and imperm. It's going to get stopped. These can basically get reattached. It's almost like ammo if you guys haven't seen the Weather Painters in a while, but he's going to go ahead and stop imperm because he needs his cards back. This is like the bread and butter of the archetype. But like I said before, Madolche is an archetype that is relatively fragile if its first play gets stopped. So you can see he's going to go for that play, and then he's going to go for a chocolate a la mode. He's going to say nope, going to go ahead and get rid of that, and then you don't have any good follow-up plays. And the problem is that if you run into drawing too many of like the trap stuff and your play goes off, like doesn't go off, it requires you to have like, you know, the Madolche cards. So then you just have to take the fat L. Like there's like no other follow-ups. If you've ever played Glad Beast, it's kind of like, well, if I have no Glads, War Chariot's not going to be doing anything. So I would say that that definitely is something to consider if you guys are interested in building Madolches. So I would say it has a little bit of competitiveness. Would I consider it the S tier best deck? No, not even close. Again, it has the same problem that, I don't know, Glads have. Heck, Blackwings back in the day, it's like you stop the first summon effect, and then they just fall apart relatively fast. Although, to be honest, new Blackwings actually have better follow-up. But for the most part, you just stop their first play with the Madolche, and then, like, they don't have any stuff to work with it. But it is a deck definitely like Salmon Great, where, like, if you just have that one card, you can absolutely pop off if you don't get OTK'd. But you're going to see them kind of make more of a comeback here. But as long as you can OTK, and in this situation, well, the Weather Painters aren't going to be in a position right there on that last turn to OTK. But if they had gotten OTK, obviously it's game over. And most modern Yu-Gi-Oh decks will be able to OTK you if you happen to have, like, I don't know, like either a 0 monster, like, and a bunch of Madolche cards that don't do anything because it requires you to have Madolches, right? Or if you just have, like, a, I don't know, 1 card pass, kind of like normal summon, or set 1 Madolche pass because they bricked or they got their effect negated. Well, I don't know, normal summon Magiling that got stopped, right? You stop the Hoot Cake, Angelica, any step of the earlier stages in Madolche. Again, the deck kind of just takes it out. But you can see they can definitely swarm and kind of recover if you allow them to, and pretty much once you happen to have Ticket and Chateau, like, that's a really nasty thing. Or if you have Salon, I mean, you just get too many free cards and it can out-resource your opponent. Although this deck can out-resource your opponent as well, because all the cards, when you activate them, they're just going to be coming back basically as ammo for their go-to boss monster. So he's going to go and bounce that card back to the hand, because this card lets him go ahead and special summon one of the Madolches. So he has like the bounce back, but this is like their bread and butter. So basically he's got 2 ammo for the card, and unfortunately he doesn't have the stats right now to deal with everything, and there's just too many cards. So he's going to go ahead and get rid of that, and he's going to go get rid of the Link monster over here, one of the newer ones. That's the one that lets you just add one, and then lets you just special summon. And again, Magiling, just go to Magiling, just search out whatever, and then you also have Salon, you got Ticket, maybe even Chateau. So now he's going to go into the Fiendsmiths over here. So he's going to go banish the card, go right into the Fiendsmith, and he's going to activate that effect. And basically this is his little like bonus engine over here. So he's going to go banish the Tiara a la Fraiche, but that one didn't have material anyways, so not too important. It's not like you can keep on slapping more Utopias over there on top of it. Now he's going to go ahead and get rid of the Sequenta, and he's going to come back over here, and he's going to start attacking over things. And card's going to go back, and because he has Salon and Ticket, this is where the deck, again, it just has that reoccurring thing where you can actually out-resource your opponent. So he's going to go summon, putting Cessior, Activate the effect, bring out the Pudding Cess, go for Angeli. He's going to go ahead and banish Angeli, so he's going to say no to the combo. But Tiramisu is going to be coming out, and we already know what this is going to go into. He's going to bounce back the cards. So remember, the brand new card, Chocolate Lava mode, is like whatever. It just gives you like another like Madolche engine over here. But he's just going to go slap on top another one, so he's going to go for a la Frage. But again, it's just kind of like you spam the board pretty consistently with what I consider kind of weak monsters. I mean, these cards on their own don't really do anything. It's just Tiramisu, a la Frage, and then technically Glass Souffle can protect your a la Frage. So he's going to go for your Mukiron again. Activate the effect, so Madolche can search out another card. He's probably gone through most of the stuff anyways. And this guy gets to draw 2 cards because he activated one of the cards in the very beginning of the duel. I didn't get to mention that. Didn't want you guys to think it was anime duels or anything like that. But yeah, he activated the time tearing. So at this point, remember, he still has a la Frage, so that's going to be able to bounce back the stuff. So bounce back the cards. Boom. And now he's going to activate the effect ticket. He's got Salon also. And be able to set another Madolche card. But I think you only really want to play like 1 or 2 of like all the stuff, because you don't want to draw into too many. Again, too many conjunctional cards. He's going to go ahead and activate the effect to go ahead and stop that. So that gets stopped over there. But he's got no more ammo here. He's got 1 left over here. He's going to go use that effect, but he's going to negate it. Remember, these cards will come back. But all he needs to do is get over it. This card is dead gone, but it doesn't really matter. And now the Madolche deck can definitely OTK. Like, if your opponent has nothing, you could easily OTK. I kind of like playing Madolche's back when you can go for, like, Nat Beast turn 1. I think that was a really strong play as well. Because Natura Beast just is so strong still in Yu-Gi-Oh! Gonna go ahead and attack, go into Tiramisu, and then he's gonna recycle some of the cards. And now he can go ahead and add, because Salon will then reset the cards. That's why, again, you don't need to play multiples of the back row. And Madolche, so he's going for Glass Souffle. It's pretty much Glass Souffle, then a la Frage. He's going for Chocolate a la mode, reset the Angeli, put it back on the hand, summon it. And then you can see this deck can definitely go off, but none of these are really that huge of a threat, other than, again, a la Frage. So you can see now he's got double over here, and his opponent has nothing. He's got nothing, so player going to be taking the game over there. So now that you guys have seen it, I'm curious to know, what are your thoughts on Madolche? So I'll give you guys both deck profiles real quick in case any of you guys do want to go ahead and mess around with them. So I think that it's kind of cool that we are getting support for them, because they were a very, very popular deck when it first came out, because it was a cute archetype, right? But are they actually like going to be seeing some competitive play? I'd say if someone plays it, I don't think it's like the worst thing though. It's not like you can't win against a meta deck. It's just that, like, again, comparing to some other decks that have like better follow-up plays, yeah, if you get hand trapped, good luck, man. Anyways, that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn the bell if you want to see more gameplays. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.